Chapter 17 Bonds of Fire and Shadow. Azural, Talvar, and Soraya moved with quiet urgency through the labyrinthine corridors of Malakar's fortress, their footsteps echoing against the cold stone walls. Shadows slithered along the walls like silent watchers, while faint whispers drifted through the air, the echoes of ancient, twisted magic that filled every corner of this place. Their escape had been a feat of raw will, Azural's blue flames blazing as she shattered her chains, defiance fueling her every move against Malakar's taunts. But the fortress seemed alive with dark enchantments, pressing down on them as they maneuvered through its oppressive halls, every step filled with the weight of unseen threats. Soraya stopped at an intersection, her gaze sharp as she murmured a spell, her hand tracing symbols in the air. "This way," she whispered, pointing to a narrow corridor on their left. "I sense an exit nearby, but we must move quickly. Malakar won't tolerate defiance." Azural led the way, her flames lighting the path as they pressed on. The weight of Malakar's magic was suffocating, like a vice tightening around her, but she refused to let it slow her. She had faced shadows before, yet this felt different, a darkness that seemed to anticipate her every move. As they reached the end of the corridor, torchlight flickered ahead. Talvar placed a hand on her shoulder, his gaze steady and reassuring. "Azural," he murmured, "whatever we face, remember, you're not alone." Azural took a breath, her fire pulsing with renewed strength. "Thank you," she whispered back. "Let's end this." They stepped into a wide chamber, the air thick with the scent of ancient magic. Malakar stood at the far end, cloaked in shadow, his eyes gleaming with cold satisfaction. Dark energy swirled around him, amplifying the fortress's malevolent aura. "So," he drawled, mocking, "the mighty Draconis Ignis Aeterni and her loyal followers, did you truly think you could escape my grasp?" He raised a hand, and tendrils of dark magic lashed out, coiling around them like serpents, pressing down with an insidious force. Azural's flames flared in defiance, pushing against the darkness. "You won't hold us, Malakar," she declared, her voice unwavering. "Your shadows may be strong, but they cannot extinguish my fire." Malakar's smile twisted into a sneer. "Let us see if your fire can stand against the shadows of eternity." With a flick of his wrist, the tendrils tightened, draining their strength. Talvar's grip on his sword faltered, while Soraya whispered incantations, her magic sparking against the shadow's relentless hold. Azural could feel the strain, her fire battling the tendrils with a fierce determination, her strength beginning to waver. But then, deep within herself, she sensed a steady, unbreakable core that Malakar's magic couldn't reach. Her resolve hardened, and with a cry she let her fire surge, a burst of blue flames that ripped through the shadowed tendrils. Malakar staggered back, his face twisted with fury as Azural advanced, her flames blazing brighter, pushing the shadows away with each step. In response, Malakar raised his hand, summoning a wave of shadow creatures that rose from the darkness, their twisted forms moving with silent malice. They lunged toward her in a relentless assault. Talvar moved beside her, his blade flashing in clean arcs as he cut through the creatures, each swing precise and unyielding. Soraya joined them, weaving a protective barrier with her magic, her spells bursting with light that sent the shadowed figures reeling back. They fought as one, their combined strength forcing back Malakar's dark onslaught. Each time a creature fell, another rose, but they held their ground, their unity a force that Malakar's shadows couldn't shatter. Malakar's gaze darkened, his voice laced with venom. "You think this is over? I am the shadow's Draconis Ignis Aeterni. You cannot defeat me." Azural's flames blazed brighter, her voice filled with fierce determination. "You're nothing but darkness clinging to dying power, and I am the fire that will consume you." With a final surge of power, she unleashed a wave of blue flames that roared through the chamber, engulfing Malakar's shadows, searing the darkness with a force that left the air crackling. The creatures disintegrated into wisps of smoke, and Malakar staggered, his form flickering with a mixture of fury and fear. He took a step back, his voice low and venomous. "This is not the end, Azural," he spat. "You may have won this battle, but the darkness will rise again, and when it does, you will face it alone." With that he vanished, dissolving into the shadows, leaving only the faint echo of his threat lingering in the empty chamber. As the last of the shadows faded, Azural lowered her hands, her flames dimming as the weight of the battle settled over her. She turned to Talvar and Soraya, their faces etched with exhaustion but filled with quiet relief. Talvar rested a hand on her shoulder, his gaze steady. "You did it," he said quietly. "You faced him, and you won." Soraya nodded, a faint smile touching her lips. "The shadows are gone, for now, but he won't stop. We'll need to be ready for whatever comes next." Azural took a deep breath, feeling the strength of their bond, the allies who had stood with her through the darkness. Malakar's words were a threat, a reminder of the battles yet to come, but she knew she was not alone. Together they would face whatever shadows lay ahead. For now, they had won. And as they left the fortress, dawn breaking on the horizon, Azural felt a renewed strength, a fire that would burn brighter than any shadow, a legacy of hope forged in the heart of the darkness.